Hi, and welcome to Partners in Progress, a couples podcast about love, life, and well-being in your 20s with me, Eloise.
And me, Sammy.
In this podcast, we'll be discussing topics like relationships, health, well-being, spirituality, and just life. From tips and tricks to failures and falls, all while sharing our story as we try to figure out building and growing a life together in the chaos of modern-day society. We'll be coming to you every Sunday with our shares and invite some guests to share their experiences too. So grab a blanket, a cuppa, and settle in to Partners in Progress. Hello and welcome back to Partners in Progress. We are very happy that we are fully recovered now from our illness of last week.
Won't hear it in our voices anymore, hopefully. I don't know if you could last time, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I got better a little bit faster than you, but also, well, no, I got like slightly better faster than you, but then like everything lingered longer for me, I think.
Yeah, I feel like to compare them to roller coasters, yours was a longer, steadier journey, and mine was very up and then down again pretty quick, because I think I was quite bad for a little while there. But yeah, all better now, and been better pretty much all week, really. It was only over the weekend and like towards the end of last week that I was a bit like, not feeling 100%.
But I feel like we've also been playing like catch up because of, that thing when you like been ill for a while, everything else kind of stops and then it feels like you have like double the things to do like when it starts getting. I feel like you've had a really like busy week of work as well.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, no, I had some new people joining and stuff like that, so it's always fun trying to get people working with everything and explaining everything a lot, and going through all that. So yeah, it's been busy, and then we've had a few bits at home, and you've been busy doing other things this week as well.
Yeah, I think like we've been talking about for weeks, haven't we, about like trying to make progress with the garden and stuff. So I just kind of wanted to do a bit of that this week. And we have some guests this weekend. Two of my very lovely, wonderful pals. So I'm really excited they're coming. I keep thinking it's Friday today, but I have to remember.
Same.
So we're recording this on Thursday.
Not last minute this week.
Yeah,
so
bit less
some level of prepared.
At one point we'll go back to being really brave, because I feel like at the beginning we had quite a good we
were always a week ahead, I think, like for a while, and now it's like, we need to release this in a few days, time to get the mics out.
But it works for us. It's fine.
It does. We haven't missed one yet.
But yeah, so I've been just getting the house in order, and it has been so sunny this last week, and I feel like everyone seems happier.
Spring has begun to sprung. I mean, I know we're not in spring yet, but it feels like whenever it's in much and sunny, I'm like, it's honorary spring now. Like, we're close enough.
Yeah, I saw like the first tree with like flowers when we were driving back from session.
Yes, yeah.
Couple days ago, and it's so like that early spring is so like beautiful, because you see all the really tiny little pink flowers on the trees, those trees. I don't know what trees they are, but
I just want to say cherry blossom, but I know it's not really,
I don't know
what they are in the
I
UK.
see them a lot in people's gardens. Like, I don't often see them out wild, so I imagine they're one that
is
people kind of
buy
plant themselves. Yeah. But because everything else is still not grown yet, it really contrasts, and it really like just is so gorgeous against it, just like completely these flowers just poking out. And even just seeing like the light reflected on trees at the moment, even though they've got no like leaves on them or anything at the moment, just seeing like the light on them has been so nice. Like it makes all the trees look like golden, which I think is so nice.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I think it's like, I've definitely felt like the sun revived me a bit when I was feeling like not 100% on Monday, but it's like, even though I was inside pretty much most of the day for my work, it's like still just having the sun shining through the window and like finishing, and it's not pitch black like at 5 p.m. at the end of the day. I feel like makes a huge difference to my energy, especially in the evenings, because I think when it's dark and I finish work, I'm just like, my brain and body just kind of shut down. When it's light, it's like, right, we can actually do things like today. We've been able to do stuff after.
Yeah, I was out in the garden today and I was absolutely loving life. I was just doing some bits for our catio, which is our like outdoor enclosure for our cats basically. and then just like some weeding and preparing for planting. And it was so nice being outside, just enjoying the sunshine, and being on session as well, and like finishing sessions and it's still light, is really nice as well.
Yeah, I think again it's same for you because your sessions sometimes go on a bit longer as well. Like they'll finish at 6, so it's nice that you're able to kind of come back and have that light after you finish work as well. And especially since you're working outdoors, it's like you feel it even more than I do, because if it's dark and you're outside with the session, it's going to be a bit chaos.
It's always a big sign that spring's on its way when I'm wearing like one less layer. Like normally I've got like thermal leggings on and then like trackies over the top, and I've got a long sleeve top, my work top, a fleece and a jacket. Whereas now the fleece and the second pair of trousers that I wear are gone. And it's just so nice. I'm like, oh my gosh, so
Finally.
nice. Yeah, which has just been really lovely as well. And I just, like, I don't know if you've seen it with people that you've kind of encountered and chatted to recently, but I feel everyone's seemed to have a bit of a boost in their like energy and well-being last week.
No, I definitely think so. From like when we've been out and spoken to people or just been working at various places, it does feel like people are just happier now, which is really nice.
And we spent this evening, again, that's the thing, like we've got to do something outside this evening, and although like we have to quickly do it in like the hour before
like
it gets dark,
almost an hour and a half now though, because it was like 6:30 when we finished, and it's like we just about see. So
that's true. But yeah, we got an egg chair, and I feel like half people know what that is, half people don't know what it is, but it's basically kind of like a swing bench but shaped like a nest kind of thing, like a kind of ropey half circle, I guess. It's like a cup.
Ropey just put a different image in my head of a dodgy looking one, but made of ropes. I mean, you're not wrong. It's just the way my brain works. But yeah, so it's like one of those sort of like half sphere type ones, to get technical about it, that's got like the open half on it, so you just put some nice big cushions in it, which they come with, and then you can just sit and slowly swing round. So yeah, we managed to put that up. Only a few small bits here and there that we weren't sure about.
It was so funny, like building something that's not box shaped, you know how normally like when it comes to furniture and stuff, normally you're dealing with normal like kind of a lot of like squares and rectangle type shapes, whereas this had like curves and like all these like weird bits, and we were like, oh, this is new.
Just like just wedge these little bits in here to make it stretch out even further, and it's just like, this doesn't feel right, but I guess if this is what we're meant to do, then we'll do it.
Literally.
So yeah, but no, it's up now, looking nice in our garden, and had a little sit in it for 10 minutes or so, and then we were like, we could just not move now, just relax here.
And then it just started raining.
Yeah, and so that was nature being like, all right, come on, you've done enough now. But no, definitely can enjoy being out there a bit, and especially being out there together, really, because we've got some existing quote unquote benches outside, which are just pallets that have had a slanted bit added to the back of them, so they're not very comfortable. But they didn't do the job. They did a job of, if you needed somewhere to sit that wasn't the ground, then
with some cushions.
Yeah. But no, this one will be really nice. So
yeah. And it's good timing as well, with like just before my friends come. It'll be really nice if we can get an opportunity to like have a little fire and sit around outside. We can sit in a nice chair and
they can sit on the
they can sit on the floor.
No. Or just on the
let's be honest, it's going to be me and Kirsty, and
that's true. Yeah,
you and Danny can sit elsewhere.
Yeah, we'll find other arrangements while you two can get the best spot.
But with like Danny and Kirsty coming up, and like they are like not my oldest friend, but like they are like the friends I've had for quite a long time. It really got me thinking about like childhood, and just like wondering if what we would have been like when we were children,
like as if we would have been friends, or
well, I don't know, just like if we would have got on, or just like do you think we would have? I don't know.
I feel like a lot of it depends on the time at which we would have met.
Yeah, because the thing, I suppose you have to think, because like the biggest thing is the fact that there's 2 years between us,
Yeah,
age-wise.
I'm treating
2
this.
school years, right?
Yeah, 2 school years. So I feel like I'd be treating this hypothetical as if we were in the same year at a given time.
Yeah,
just because
we'd
it's like
have
it kind
to.
of wouldn't really work otherwise. But
No, though I did like date people that were in like different year groups, but there wasn't really that much like, I don't know. And it's interesting now because with the kids I work with, there are like quite a few of them that like hang out with people of different year groups. But I feel like the most people that I know and my experience of growing up, my friends were all like in my year.
yeah, I think when I in primary school and then like in my first year of secondary school, like a lot of my friends were in the year above, so I kind of just tended to hang out with them. But then yeah, I think after that I just kind of found more friends in my year and then kind of stuck, like not with necessarily all the same people, but like a group that formed from that pretty much through up until I finished the end of sixth form, really. So
Didn't you like skip a year in a subject?
well, yeah, kind of. I think that's why those friendships kind of formed, because in I think it was just like maths in primary school. I think it was like year 3 is like where I jumped up to year 4, and then it was always like kind of a year
Mad.
ahead from that point. Because I know there was one point where my parents were talking to the head teacher of my primary school about like moving me up a year fully, so that would be like integrating like into all the classes. But I think my head teacher at the time, and my parents have said that they think she was right about this, and I kind of agree that like I think it was just more mentally I wasn't there in terms of like being with people a year older than me. I think that if she was like academically you'd probably be alright, but it's just it is quite a big change, even like a year at that point.
Yeah, and I think at school age, especially, how old were you when they were discussing that?
Like 7.
There's
7 or
so
8,
much difference between like 7-year-olds to like 12-year-olds. Like during that time, there's so much that happens. Like with like development that, yeah, like I can see why they would be hesitant because of that. It would feel quite contrasting.
I think I wasn't necessarily that like, again, not saying you're mature when you're like an 8-year-old versus a 7, but like there's a difference there, and it's like I definitely wasn't. That wasn't like I wouldn't have been there for that. So.
Well, I don't know if it would have necessarily. I don't know if you would have felt it then, but you might have felt it when you're getting to like 10 and 11.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. So I think that was more they were looking at like kind of down the line a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do agree, because I think it was some of those later classes when I was like 9 and then you were in with like 10. So it's like I was in year 4 and they were in year 5 or something like that. I think those were the ones where you really start feeling it a bit. So, yeah.
Well, I know if one thing is if like you had been in my school, in my year group, in my classes, I definitely would have like magnetized to you because you were so smart, and that's what I tended to not necessarily in like the first few years. It's like from like year 7 to like maybe year 10 I was really shy, I would, the kind of shy where you go bright red when your name's called in the register, even though you know it's coming, and all you've got to do is just be like here. But that would make me like go bright red in the face. Like I just and all the what they're called, parents' evenings.
Parents' evening.
They'd all every single class would be like, oh, she just needs to contribute more, she just needs to put her hand up more, blah blah blah. But when it came to like year 10 and 11 onwards, I was a bit more confident and a bit more, and I think because that's when like, and I don't know if it happened at your school, but it's when the two sides of, I suppose it's different because your school's, oh no, you did say that it's like the two sides of, sorry, let me finish my,
I'll finish your thought. I know your thought, but I'll let you finish it.
Although we know what we're talking about, people listening are going to be like, well, wait, what?
2 halves of what?
2 halves of the year. So like we had like 2 sides of the year because my secondary school was massive. Every set had like 2 of that set.
That's crazy. What did they split yours on, or was it just like arbitrary? Was there not like this half does this half does?
No, yeah, I think it would have just been, I'm sure there was like some system, but I don't know if there was any like intentional like, that's crazy. She's going to be this side of the year. This, like, I think you literally just got split into. Ours was
split on something. I want to see it was split on a subject. Not one that really has any relevance to splitting, but it was a French and German side of the year. That's what ours was split on.
Yeah, we had that, but we also had like multiple people doing German and stuff. Though I don't know if we had I'm trying to think now. I don't know if we had like, if the other half of the year also had German and French, like if there were subgroups within the groups. I don't know.
Oh no, what I mean is like the thing that split our one in half was like one half of the year did French in year 7, 8, and 9. The other half did German in year 7, 8, and 9, and that was the one difference. Like,
Yeah, well, that's what we had as well.
okay.
Like,
Then
but
we're on the
I'm
same
just
page.
trying to figure out if there was, like, I'm trying to think now if there was 2 sets of German or not. I
see.
don't know. I just know there was a lot of kids.
Were you on the French or the German side of yours?
German.
German as well.
I was quite good at German. I can't believe
Yeah.
you forgot that. Or are you just saying it for the podcast?
I was kind of saying it more for the podcast.
Oh, that's all right then. I was about to be very offended.
No, I
Whoa.
I didn't just want to be like, you were German.
We literally have a German
side.
dictionary
We do.
on your bookcase, even though it should be on mine. But it doesn't go
I thought
over
it was mine. I have one like that.
No, you don't. I have that. That's it. It's just followed us around wherever we've lived.
I've mentally claimed it as mine.
We've lived together too long that you think it's yours. Okay, it is. You could use it as fine.
I don't tend to find myself needing a German dictionary very much, to be honest.
But yeah, so I think I would have been drawn to you because you would have been smart, but not like annoying smart. Do you know what I mean? You know, the people that are just like.
I tried my best. I know the people you mean, and I always tried to not be like them because I was aware it's like there were definitely people in like that I knew who were like, oh no, I only got like an A and I wanted an A star, and I was like, I never want to be like that because that's so frustrating. So I think I was always just kind of like quiet about what I got, and it's like I always sometimes felt awkward if I did like really well. So like I remember on like for like GCSEs and A levels, like I did get more than what I kind of wanted on those, and I was just kind of like quiet around it, especially when some people that I knew didn't, and I didn't want to be like, really well, I got this. So I was a bit like, but yeah,
I feel like, to no surprise to anyone listening, Sammy is incredibly smart academically, obviously from him saying that he literally skipped a year. Like you were top of the class, as they say.
Top of the class. Yeah.
Whereas I always say I'm quite average, like I'm kind of like middle grading.
I always say you're slightly above average for one specific reason that you probably explained.
What one? What,
your GCSE results?
Oh yeah, well I don't know, for me that just seems average though, but again that's probably from my perspective of like being in the class.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for me I feel like, and that's the thing as well, because there's, depending on age, like after art, well no, you started having grades as numbers, didn't you? I was going to say like for people to keep in mind, our grades were like A, B, C, D, etc. Not the 7, 8, 9 or whatever.
I was in the awkward year where English and maths were done on the numbers system. Everything else was graded in letters.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because I think that it was meant to be everything, but somewhere along the line they only had time to do it in those 2 subjects. So I think I got like a 6 and a 7 in English and like an 8 in maths. So
I thought a 6 was like low.
9's the highest. I think 6 is like C, B level.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't that smart then. No, I'm kidding.
English was not my strong suit.
I just assumed. So were you like? I just had assumed that you were quite consistent on all your grades. Like I assumed you got A's and everything.
I mean, like when we got to A level, like
with A levels, but I mean throughout like your whole schooling.
I'm trying to remember what
in terms of like the grade that matters. So I suppose GCSEs is what I'm thinking.
I think I got like 6 is like a B level. Thinking about it, because that's 7 is an A, and then 8 is an A star, and a 9 is like an A star. So I think I got like 9. I think I got like 2 or 3 A stars, 9 A's, and then like 2 or 3 B's at GCSE level.
You know, quick side note, but there was one of the kids that's actually a volunteer now at work who has got a 9 in something recently, like Spanish or something, and when he told me that, like what it was equivalent to, I was like, oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, 9 is crazy.
I know, I just felt so proud. I was like, oh really?
I knew some people who got 9s and stuff, and I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. I was never like that. So it's funny because like for me with my grades, I was very much all over the place, really, until the end, where
say,
I
yeah.
was exact, and I have the very unique experience of getting the exact same grade in every single GCSE that I did. I got a B in everything,
It is
which
very
is
impressive.
so weird. And I kind of continue that trend, like getting like B equivalents basically through like my A levels and
Yeah.
degrees. Like both my degrees are B level technically. Like they're
Yeah,
not
because
the
they're not the
top.
top, they're like the second one down, aren't
Yeah,
they? Yeah.
which I just think is really funny. So that's why I always say like I'm average, because I feel like that's the average. But I suppose it's maybe like the top side of
I was going to say,
average.
you're like, you're upper average.
Upper average.
No, but I think average is like underselling yourself. But
Well, yeah, but honestly, if it wasn't for the people that I was in class with during GCSEs, I don't think I would have gotten that. Like, especially like, because I did triple science.
oh gosh.
I know. And because I really loved science, and because of that time I was planning on going into like animal care. So science was what it was all about. But honestly, if it wasn't for like the kind of in-class tutoring of fellow students, I would not have made it. Like I would not have got those grades. Like and there were different people as well. I remember, I think in biology, there was this boy Kyle. He was the one that helped me through there, and then there was Andrew in like physics and things like that. So like it was because the teacher would do the talking and
Explain
thing,
everything, yeah.
and then I'd be there like, what? And then the kid would literally like teach
Relay it,
me,
yeah.
and that would be how I would understand things. And so I do have to credit like the people in my life for that, because I definitely wouldn't have achieved what I did without their kind of assistance. But anyway, we're not really, grades isn't really what
I was
this
going
is
to say,
all
we're on a big
about.
tangent, really.
I know, grades is
So
not
personality-wise, so well, I was going to say last thing about the grades thing. Like, I did do that with some people, I think, of like trying to help them
yeah,
be
that's
on the
why
other end of it.
that's
So
what I
that's
think
one
we would
thing
have
that
done.
we could have overlapped on with that, especially in like maths or like a physics type.
Yeah, I think
situation.
because I kind of visualize you as like people that I know from school. Like, if
Yeah.
I imagine I'd slot you in where they are, because of the kind of energies they give off and the kind of people they were, and you were very much like Andrew, who was really smart and really lovely boy. Well, man now. He's a full grown adult now. Like I imagine you kind of would be in the role he was. He had a kind of quite decent like friendship group. Kind of kept to himself, but he was always there to support. He's also really tall, which is quite funny.
There you go.
And I know him from primary school as well, and he was really lovely to me in primary school too. I struggled in primary school. I don't know about your experience in primary school, but I struggled.
Yeah, I think I really did at the start, because I think I just didn't really try and make friends when I went in to begin with. So I remember like in our school, I was probably the same in yours, but we had like a buddy system where they paired like a year 6 with a reception or whatever they're called.
I was the buddy.
I was a buddy as well.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, but I also had a buddy.
Oh, did you?
So
oh,
yeah, I think my buddy when I was in reception would kind of encourage me to go and talk to other kids.
That's
and like
so sweet.
introduce me and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's how I kind of made friends in primary school. But like our school was so small, like the primary one, it's only there were like 30 kids in a year, and then in our year there were only 6 boys, I think.
Wow.
So you kind of had to get on with at least a few of them.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that. Yeah, for me, again, it was quite equivalent to like my secondary school. It was like a decent primary school. So there was 2 classes for every year group. So there was about 60.
Yeah.
I can't remember if there was 3. I don't think there was 3. I think it was just 2. Yeah, it's just 2. And yeah, it's weird because like I don't remember feeling really sad during primary school, but from how my parents kind of describe how I was,
right.
They were just, they really worried about me. And because obviously I've got an older sister, and she was the opposite to me in terms of she was a very outgoing, strong, capable girl in school. So, friends was no problems. But for me, it was. So I didn't really have like the same friend throughout my whole like primary school experience. I literally every year I feel like I had a different friendship group. Well, it wasn't even a friendship group, I just had a different friend, because what would happen is I would gravitate to one person who had had a falling out with their friend.
Right.
And I would just hang out with them all the time. They would be like my whole world.
Right.
And then as soon as they made up with their other friend,
Then
I would lose that friend.
Yeah.
And I just had I just remember so many like different friendships of that happening over and over again. I know. It did settle in probably like year 5 and 6. That was when I became a buddy. That was when I became friends with Andrew and all of his friends. And I had friend Cara, who was like my bestie. And we were a nerdy group, but is like us, that moment when the nerds find each other.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, it just gave us all this kind of confidence, really. And we'd have such a good time being like buddies for like the other kids. And that was a really lovely time. And it's so funny how like basically my whole career is pretty much a buddy system.
It was set in from year 6. No.
Year 5, technically.
Oh God.
But yeah, I feel like we probably both would have been too like. I feel like we were both probably quite shy in primary school.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like, I don't think. I mean, it's you try and remember how you made friends that age. It's all just like a blank, really, because it's so far back, I think. But it's like, I think you just have one conversation or one thing happen, and like if the vibes are good, then it just kind of carries on in perpetuity. So I think, yeah, because mine's kind of like, I don't think I really had that, just because purely there wouldn't be enough people to have that happen within my school. But I think I had like a few different kind of groups of friends, because like some of them were in the year above me, some of them were in the year below me, because like I had neighbours and like people who lived nearby who were in the year below that I was kind of friends with more outside of school, I guess, rather than inside. And then like people, like some friends inside my year group as well. And there are a few from that kind of group that then I kind of wasn't friends with them much, and then became friends with more again in secondary school. So it's kind of funny how you kind of lose it for a while and then it kind of comes back around in a way.
I think that's one thing that was different for me, because obviously you like grew up in a village, so you went to like the village school.
Yeah, well,
with all the other village children.
There were 2 village schools, but one of them was a private school. So,
but for me, we had like catchment areas in terms of like there's loads of schools in Milton Keynes, probably more now. And you kind of normally it'd be like, if you live close to that school, you would go to that school kind of thing. But because my dad worked for the council when he worked on projects to do with schools, I think I went to Broughton Fields, but I don't think I was technically in the catchment area for it. So a lot of the kids that I went to school with, I don't think they lived super close to me.
No, which makes sense if you were like either right on the edge or outside of that.
Or maybe not. Area. I don't know, because we moved to like where my first year of school. Well, no, my preschool was in the first house that I lived in, and it was the attached one. Yeah. Whereas I moved house and then started at a brand new school. Like literally, I was the first class, like I was the first year group,
which is
for
very
that
cool.
year.
Because you're the first one to go through the whole thing.
The whole process, the whole 6 years at the school. So that was really special. But yeah, I definitely feel, I don't know, I feel like if we'd had more confidence, I feel like we would have probably got on, because I feel like we probably would have matched each other's weird.
Yeah, no, like I agree. I think it's like once we got over that hurdle of like talking to each other in the first place, I think we definitely would have been friends. But it's just that who would have initiated that and what would have kind of sparked that. That's the uncertain bit in my mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like I think I was obviously really comfortable with my family members, but I wasn't super comfortable with anyone else.
Yeah, same. Or like I think I was like comfortable with people I was established as friends with, but I just remember being a bit awkward if it wasn't established that I was friends with people already, you know.
I wonder if you were like me in that, like, when I was in like primary school age, I really loved making my family laugh, like, all the time. Like, I was obsessed with doing whatever I could to get a laugh out of them. That was like my thing, was what I was always kind of trying to do without really knowing that that's what I was trying to do. So I just do loads of like really silly, weird, random things. And we look back at the videos now, and my family literally still find it so funny, the way I was, because I was just, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think all primary school kids are weird, aren't we? We're all a bit weird.
I don't think there's such thing as a normal,
no,
quote unquote, normal primary school kid.
But were you like that, or?
I think a little bit, but not as much. I think it's just like, I think I would a bit, but I was more just kind of happy to be there a lot of the time. It's kind of what I am now. It's like I don't necessarily need to, like, not saying you were like being the center of attention and stuff like that, but like,
oh no,
I do remember like trying. I think it's like maybe less intentional, but quite similar, because I remember just kind of having fun a lot with all my different kind of family and just stuff like that. I don't think I was really trying to do anything. It was more just existing at that point, I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah, I think I did try to do things to make them happy, but it was in different ways, because I remember I used to be really into I was very into trading cards and things like that then, like Pokemon ones and Doctor Who ones. So I always used to design my own, and then I'd like give them to people. And,
that's so cute.
Like make up games to play with them that were probably nonsensical, but at the time they made sense to me, so I forced it upon people as well.
I don't think I was that creative.
No.
I don't really know what I was into at that age. I mean, I watched a lot of telly. I remember being called a telly addict because I just watched so much telly. I would play Sims a lot in primary school, but only with Vari, because at that point I didn't. Vari's like my oldest friend. And I didn't own Sims myself, so I just, whenever I was with her, we just play
make
Sims.
the most of it.
Yeah, it was great, because there was like 2 PCs next to each other, so we'd both get to play at the same time. That was my childhood. Mario Kart. That would have been alright with games.
I was gonna say
Mario Kart. I loved a bit of Mario Kart.
I think
Super Mario. I was very into my DS. Yeah. I had my little Nintendogs.
Yeah, Nintendogs was one I never had, but I always knew friends who had it, so I always like kind of.
Yeah.
Whenever I went around to their houses, I'd play it a bit and be like, that was fun. And then never
there's not, it's very like simple. There's not much in the game really. Though from the one that I had. Professor Layton, that was a good one as well.
Professor Layton, I have a fun story about Professor Layton. Not fun, but I remember I got it for a birthday when I was like 6 or 7 when it came out. And then, because I think my parents had it recommended by like another family who, like, their kid was into DS games. Like, oh, this one's really good. And I was playing it, I think, past my bedtime one night. And there's like one scene where it's like someone gets kidnapped or put in a bag or something, and I just got really freaked out, like insanely freaked out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I was like crying and stuff. And then I was like, I wouldn't touch a Professor Layton game until like 10 years later, I think, because it was after I'd played all the Ace Attorney ones. I was like, I'll give these a go again. And I recognised the scene, like, even though like when I played it again, it's like my heart rate spiked again, and I was like, it's actually fine. Like, the scene's not that dramatic. I think I just misinterpreted what had happened, and it like scared me, I think, because of that. But it's like, I feel like when you're a kid, weird things like that can happen. Because I also had that with a Thomas the Tank Engine episode, apparently, when I was a lot younger. Because my dad always said, or both my parents said, like, they'd leave it on the VHS for me, and like I'd start freaking out when this one episode came on, so they'd have to run in and skip it. So
that's sweet.
Yeah, so that's a running trend.
Though I think one of the ones that I think of for me, like, that give that kind of like weird, like deep old fear, was the kidnapper in, I think it's Chick Chick Bang Bang, with the like the carriage, is it?
I know what you mean. Yeah,
and it like snaps open and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that was terrifying.
Yeah. No, I have vague memories of what you mean. So I watched Chick Chick Bang Bang quite a few times as a kid, but it didn't do it for me. But I know it's that thing where it's like some things will just like trigger your fight or flight really viscerally as a kid for reasons you can't explain as an adult. It's just like, well, it did.
And they had it on the 2012 Olympics. Was that the one that was in
That was
England?
the London one, yeah.
London one. That opening ceremony was amazing. But yeah, they had Choo Choo Bang Bang. I think they had loads of like kids and stuff, and I think there was a kidnapper on it. And I remember feeling like,
Yeah,
like
it's that
I don't even know
unease
how
again.
like I don't know how to describe what the feeling is, but it's like a spot in your heart. I don't know.
Yeah, if
It's
anything
weird.
like mine, it's like a deep unease that really triggers a freeze, and like you don't know
you're
what
just
to
like,
do.
oh my god,
Yeah,
that's
we
crazy.
would have bonded over that. Being terrified of random things that most people would be like, what's that about?
Wow, yeah, and I had that repeated. I had a recurrent dream about a clown.
Gosh. Where it sparked your love of them from.
My head, yeah.
No,
Well, it's
sarcasm
weird
as well.
because it's so weird because like you know how in a lot of like classic households, a parent will or like a grown up will dress as Santa Claus.
Yes.
I'll come visit you. And I used to get freaked out by Santa Claus apparently, so I wanted the Christmas clown. But then I have a fear of clowns, so I really don't understand.
You might tell me that. I forgot that. That's so funny just knowing you and how much like if you see clowns in like anything we watch or
it
like
freaks me
out and
out.
about,
I
you
hate
just like
clowns.
grab onto me and you just go like, ooh, there's like a full body like shiver. So it's just very funny that you would have preferred to see a clown to Santa Claus
I know.
at one point in your life.
What was that? It's so weird.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I quite liked when Santa Claus came to
I don't know why I insisted on having the Christmas clown.
Your best friend.
But yeah, no, I had this recurrent dream about clowns, and I literally can like remember all of it now. Being chased by a clown and going into like a public bathroom, and the clowns coming out of like the mirrors and the like hand dryers and the other cubicles and stuff and chase me out. And I had the same dream like every night for my whole life pretty much. I still get it occasionally. I think it's been a while since I've had it, but yeah, that's why my weird reaction to clowns. That's why I have that.
If you saw a clown in a bathroom, that would be a bad day for you then.
Yeah. Oh god, that would literally be the worst. I can't even. But you have those things, don't you? Like when you're younger, you have like those weird little fears, and some of them. And you're right, like some of them you can kind of like trace back of like a negative experience, but some of them are literally just like having seen something and it just stuck with you and it just hit a chord in a certain way.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those, aside from talking about this, I can definitely remember there were things that would do that for me, but I'm just like, I'm drawing a blank on them now, but I know if I like saw it or experienced those things again, I'd be like, this is it. I remember being like sucked into the earth was a big thing for me. I was like, quicksand I thought would be a much bigger issue in life, or just like like I think just because like things I watched and stuff like that, or like the mud that you step in and like swamps and things. So I was always just really, I think I still have that today, because if I like sometimes go like round like hiking or things like that, or just out more in nature, and then you see those fields where it's like a little bit wet and stuff, I'm always like hesitant to go on there unless someone's got ahead of me, because I never know quite how far people are going to sink.
You would not like the trench in the woods then.
Yes, that's probably true. But yeah, I'm thinking that's quite like primary school stuff. So for like secondary, I'm trying to think what might be different. I'm just looking at the time though, but because we've spoken quite a lot about this, so we could always like do secondary another time, because
yeah, we'll continue the conversation at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting to think, isn't it, like how we would have connected or not connected as children, and just like the differences in our upbringing. It's always interesting. But yeah, we will leave it there for today. Before we head off, it's the Wellbeing Segment. I feel like it needs like its own little, a little tune.
You need to be able to just like press a button while we're recording and then play the little tune.
Yeah. Anyway. What is something that it's such an awkward wording. What is something that has brought you a boost of well-being, or been a highlight of your last week?
I think we kind of spoke about it already, but I think just the weather and the sun coming out has kind of been the biggest thing that I've felt that's been a boost to my energy this week. I am also saying that because I don't want to say Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for the third time in a row. Yeah. So, but no, like in fairness, I think the sun has played a bigger impact and just the weather in general. Because whenever I've kind of come out to pick you up and just been out in the garden a bit and like being outside, It feels like it's recharged me rather than drained me, which is what those things can do sometimes. Like coming to drive to pick you up in like what is rush hour essentially is not always the most fun experience. But when it's like sunny and getting out into the car and stuff, it's like it's nice
It is nice
to get out. It feels like, oh, I'm actually getting out and enjoying the sun a bit, even if you're in the car,
Yeah.
you know. So
And it was hot in the car, wasn't it?
it was
I was like,
sweltering,
oh,
yeah. I put my
jeez,
coat
it's
on to begin
begun.
with, and I was like, God, I'm melting, and I couldn't take it off because I was driving. So I took it off when I arrived, and I felt like I was just like sweated through.
Literally.
Anyway, what's yours? I'm not going to say the whole question again because I can't remember it.
I am really pumped for our egg chair for the little swinger, because I feel like I always like it's whenever it gets sunny, I always find myself just being like, oh, I really could just be outside right now. But a lot of what stops me is thinking about like where I'm gonna sit, or like getting
Yeah,
comfortable and stuff. And you know, I do like to sit on the grass and stuff. But normally that involves like putting on waterproof trousers and kind of getting kitted out and stuff like that. So it kind of adds
it's a lot of
extra
effort.
steps. And although they are minimal, they do stop me. Whereas now that we have the chair, it's a really simple thing that can allow me to just like literally just slip shoes on and go.
Yeah, just chuck the pillows on it and you're done. Like it's way easier than
Exactly.
all the other steps.
But even with like the pillows, I think we'll only put them away if it's like due to rain or
Oh,
begins
yeah,
to
yeah.
rain, or like we're out. Like I think after today, like this evening, it's not due to rain for a few days, so we'll probably just leave it out. And
yeah,
yeah, so I'm just really looking forward to being able to be outside, and have somewhere to just sit and be comfortable. I mean, the garden's got so much to go. Like we have barely begun, but
yeah.
now that we've got somewhere comfortable to sit, I think that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes I'm like, have we just flipped our priorities a bit with getting this? But it's like at least we can actually just enjoy the outdoor space itself, if not the garden as a whole. Because like, I mean, we'll enjoy the garden when it's more complete than it is now. But at least we can enjoy the sun and being outside, which is something that I didn't feel like we didn't do as much as we could have done since we got the house last year. So I think
well, to be fair, we moved in summer, and
that's true. It was the end of summer,
spending
and,
our
like,
time
yes,
setting up the house.
Yeah, so like in fairness, I think that's reasonable. But
yeah.
but yeah,
what is one thing you or I can do to support your well-being this week?
I think from my side, it's just looking at kind of continuing to balance out like our evenings is the main thing. So I think I feel like we've done a decent job this week of trying to do that, of like getting stuff done in the evenings, but also just taking rest ones wherever needed. Because I think the beginning of the week it was still a bit resting a bit more, and then now we've been doing a bit more stuff, such as driving around and sort of like sorting out the egg chair and stuff like that. So, and I think we've now got a lot of equipment that we've been needing to do more stuff in the garden as well. Like, so I think we can kind of continue balancing that, because I'm aware that next week we'll also be going on our holiday as well.
Anniversary holiday, that's true.
So that's why I'm thinking we don't necessarily need to do a ton.
Excited.
So yeah, what about you?
I think it's just making sure I don't get ahead of myself, because as lovely and wonderful it is that the sun is here, spring is on its way, and the weather's warmed up a little bit, and you know, suddenly you want to like do everything, and I really, really want to do everything. Like I really want to do lots of things. It's just making sure, I don't get ahead of myself.
Don't do it all.
Yeah, just don't try and do it all. Like I knew that there was more I could do today, and I wanted to, and I still want to.
Yeah.
But
even
I know
it's like 8:30 now.
I know. So I know in my head, like, okay, this is, you know, you have the time kind of thing. And I think especially because I've like officially closed down services on my Wellbeing Nature for now.
Yeah.
It frees up a bit more time to allow me to kind of take my time on all of the many projects and kind of daily life stuff. So yeah, I think it's just important to make sure I don't, and I think that's something that like people listening can kind of remember as well, because spring energy comes, and it definitely comes with a bit of a force, doesn't it? And the sun comes out, you're like, yay.
Yeah, it's
and
like
then
I
you
can
go
do
like,
everything, and then you're like,
yeah,
wait, maybe I don't do it all in one day, and spread it out.
exactly. So just keeping in mind that you don't need to go from 0 to 100.
And you're probably not gonna feel the best if you try to, because your body's
No.
not used to it.
Like just look to nature, like the buds on the trees aren't here yet, and although yes there are like some flowering trees and some things are moving, not everything is like full of life yet, so just notice the gradualness to it, I suppose.
And be kind to yourself.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. Last words. Hope you have a lovely week. We are sending you love and warmth as always, and we will see you next time.
See you then.